Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of xah Talk Show. Today is November 3rd, Sunday, 2019, 5 o'clock p.m. San Francisco time. And today we are going to do some Emacs Lisp coding, and we are going to do some PowerShell demo on the Mac. PowerShell is becoming powerful and very popular. Good morning. Wait, you don't have a name. Good morning, nameless. Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, beautiful people. So, aren't you in Germany? Good morning, Thomas Wall. Hello, beautiful people. Aren't you in Germany? So right now it's like let's see what time is it? 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Uh, yeah, is it two o'clock in the morning? I'm in. Oh yeah, Czech Republic. So that's 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Like type your time. So we are going to do some Emacs demonstration. And are you guys using Emacs? Hello, beautiful people. And Thomas Ward. Thomas Ward, where are you from? UK. Okay, Thomas Ward is from UK. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank you guys for coming by. So we're gonna do some Emacs demonstration. You guys using Emacs, right? So we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna just do Emacs list modify xah new page to add the title. Okay, that's Emacs list coding. Then Emacs set default mod for new buffer to HTML. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Show my tutorial. Then Emacs change key binding on xah-lookup web. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna do Emacs workflow, create a new page. We're gonna do that. Okay, Emacs. Yeah, so let's do some Emacs topics for maybe half an hour. Then let's do a PowerShell demonstration on the Mac. You see, you can see, let me put it here, clear screen. What? Clear screen K. Okay, so you can see PWSH. I'm on a Mac and I'm starting PowerShell. You can do LS, you can do LSAL. Well, you can, you can actually, they modified it. So anyway, this is running PowerShell and it's very interesting. So let's begin with Emacs. Okay, Emacs. I want to start with this topic first. Set default mod for new buffer. So do you guys know how to do that? So for example, I want to create a new buffer, right? So now I'm in a new buffer. Now a new buffer, there is a default mod. For me, I set it to xah text mod. So for example, now I do describe variable, then I type major mod, enter. Then Emacs tell me that the value of major mod is xah text mod. So that means when I open a new buffer, the buffer is in the major mod is xah text mod, and you can set that yourself to any mod you want, to Emacs list mod, to Python mod, as your new buffer. So how do you do that? Let's go to my Emacs tutorial. I don't remember offhand, so you go to Emacs tutorial, you go to init setup, you go to set file to open in major mod. Now Emacs has quite a few, has like two or three mechanisms that determines which mod to set when you open a file. So you can read this page if you want, but I'm just going to do what I want to do. So hold on a second. So let me paste that here. Okay, now back to browser. Let's see. Okay, VS. What is VS? So so I want to create a new buffer. I want to make it the default mod to be XAR HTML mod. So let's see, how do you do that? Auto list. So this is how you set a mod depending on the file name extension. For example, if you open any .js file, you want to open in JavaScript 2 JS2 mod, then you add this line to your init file. And let's see, but that's not what we want. We want any new buffer to be in a specific mod. How come I don't mention it? Okay, set file to opening a new mod. So that's not there. So let's go to my Emacs init file. So go to settings. This is my Emacs settings. Let's search for mod. Let's search for XAR text mod. So search XAR text mod. Then we will see the code. Search for all EL files. Okay, why is this becoming more complicated when I try to explain it? Oh, there it is. So there it is. I should so you see this line. So you see this line. It says set init major mod. So that is the variable you want to set. So the value of that variable is a major mod name or command, so that when you have a new buffer, it will be set to that mod. So I was using XAR text mod. Let's change it to XAR HTML mod. Okay. And before we do that, we want to do this. Hold on a second. Okay, let's remove this line. Require XAR text mod. So I want to load XAR text mod, but I want to go to search for. So here I'm loading my XAR HTML mod. Require XAR HTML mod. Then I want to set any new buffer to be XAR HTML mod. Okay. So that is what I want to do. So now before we run that, let's try to open a new mod, new buffer. Okay, open a new buffer, then describe variable, type in major mod, enter. Then it says XAR text mod. That's not what we want. Okay, now close the buffer. Now evaluate this code. So I call eval last 6. Now it's done. Now I'm going to wait, not that line, this line. Okay, so eval last 6. That's done. Now I open a new buffer. It will be XAR HTML mod. Let's try it. So new buffer. You see, you can see the mod line. It says summation XAR HTML. So it's actually already working. But let's double check. The way you check, the proper technical way you check which major mod you are in, is by calling describe variable on the name major mod. So let's try it. Describe variable, type in major mod, enter. So it says major mod is a variable defined in something something. Then its value is XAR HTML mod. You see. So now we did that. That's perfect. So why do I want HTML mod? Because usually I do things in text mod, but now in the past few years I find that by default it's just more convenient to work in HTML mod because I'm writing HTML all the time. So for example, I can start to embed let's say, go back to XAH talk show page, go to today's talk show, let's say showing browser, you see there's an image. So for example, I want this image PNG, so here is the image. So I copy this. Actually, I want to extract the URL. Now I got the full path of this URL in clipboard. Now I go to the new buffer, I paste it. You can see we got the full path. And I can do quite a few things. For example, I can make it right now. You see it's a local file. It's in user XAH web, blah blah blah. I can make it a URL. So I have command to do that. For example, now it becomes a URL. You see now it's xah-fly-info. Then I can copy it. I can go here. For example, I can paste it, and for other people to look at it. So if you click that, you see the image. Okay, close that. So that's why I want my default mod to be HTML mod for now. Emacs is always exploration and experiment. After a week, if I don't like it, I can change it back. Just modify my init. That's the kind of the beauty of Emacs. Well, I suppose in many other editors you can do that as well. But anyway, so that is one topic finished about set default mod. Okay, so yeah, so that is one topic, set default mod. Let's change that to here. Then okay, that's the first topic we covered. Now by the way, if you are looking at this image, this is someone crazy. Okay, they wrote a snake game in browsers HTML JavaScript debugger, basically, not debugger, but in the inspector, basically the IDE. So in browser today, browser is so complex that you have because browser uses JavaScript, and you have this whole bunch of JavaScript framework like React, Webpack, Angular, Vue, and a bunch of others. So JavaScript, browser actually has become the IDE of JavaScript. And I would claim that the browser's IDE today is actually more complex to implement. It's actually quite more complex than even a full-fledged C++ IDE. Okay, I'm telling you that. So because browser, I don't know if you can, if you code front end, then you know what I'm saying. Because you have lots of issues. You have the HTML element, which is this nested full parsing stuff. Then you have the JavaScript console. Then you have the source for HTML, for JavaScript, for CSS, for cached sources, things like that. Very complex. Then you have the network. When you want to debug, your website speed, you see, those are in real time. So we can see right now YouTube. Let me stop the video. Okay, you can see right now, even the video is stopped. It's loading stuff. It's like lots of things going on. And you can check the performance tab. That's another thing. You have to reload the page to actually see the graph. Then you have the memory, the memory profilers, things like that. Then you have the application. I'm not sure. I've never seen this application before, actually, so it might be new. So they are changing every day. Like they are changing frequently. Then you have security. Then you have audit. So today, writing JavaScript. JavaScript is the most popular language among the top 5. JavaScript, Python, PHP, C++, Java. Basically, these are the top 5. most popular languages. So Java is everywhere. It's written. It's everywhere, and the browser has embedded with it an IDE for JavaScript essentially. And in fact, I would say you don't even need any JavaScript editors. You could. I think some people do that, but I've never heard of it though. But you could write everything in with the browser. Yeah. But besides that, even if you don't, the browser is essential. I mean, the debugging, the whole bunch of tools in the browser. I would claim that this browser JavaScript console, this and the HTML inspector, the whole thing is actually more complex than the full-fledged C++ IDE. I would claim. Okay, yeah, the full-fledged IDE, commercial. Otherwise, I would say it's more complex than them. Do you guys agree that with that? So let's go on to the next Emacs topic, or unless you guys have any comments, questions, okay, type it now. So Thomas, Windows IDE. So hello, beautiful people. I'm also working in IntelliJ IDEA. IntelliJ, I heard, is a great. I mean, the company makes really great text editors for programmers. They really do. Um, but it's commercial. So Microsoft SQL, sometimes Studio. Oh, so that's what you use. Okay. Hello, beautiful people. So you don't. So hello, beautiful people. Nope. 2 in the morning. Czech Republic is next to Germany. Okay. Same time. So hello, beautiful people. So you don't use Emacs. Oh, you do use Emacs. Okay. And Thomas is using Windows IDE. Oh, Visual Studio. Okay. And okay, Thomas Wall is Visual Studio fan. Thomas Java C plus. So Thomas is doing C sharp. I guess when you work with C sharp, the Microsoft specific technology, more or less, Microsoft technology, then you basically stick with Visual Studio, I guess. By the way, do you have to pay for Visual Studio? I know there's a free version. Yeah, there's a free version. So is there a lot of jobs in C sharp? C sharp is also pretty popular. Like immediately after C++. Uh, so I would say the top 6 most popular languages. So Thomas Wall never got into Vim or Emacs. So that's interesting. So how did you find me, Thomas Wall? Because usually my followers are the open source or Emacs Linux fanatics. Uh, I think of Emacs highly, but default keybinding is rubbish. WebStorm is popular. JavaScript IDE, yes. I'm not sure if you have files from Chrome Dev Tools. There are some online JavaScript editor. Oh, you can. I'm pretty sure you can save files in Chrome Dev Tools. Yes, you can. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm not going to show you how, but actually, or maybe I got confused because I know in Firefox you can. I've done it. But anyway, I don't know these JavaScript dev tools that well, so I'm not going to do demos of that. Okay, you don't remember how you come across my homepage. Okay, so let's get on to the next Emacs topic. Okay, well, if Thomas, if you are not using Emacs, maybe we can change topic. What Emacs themes are you using? The one with the mint green background. So that is a frequently asked question. What theme I'm using. So I'm going to show you, and you are going to be surprised. You just go to my Emacs blog, and you go to practical Emacs, then you go to the themes, color themes. Everyone loves that. That's one of the most popular page on my Emacs website. So you go to themes, search for theme, and search for color. Okay. Um, Actually, search for theme. Why is every time I want to find something, I cannot find it? Search for theme. Okay, so anyway, so you go to init setup, then you search for theme. There it is, set color theme. So this page shows you how to set Emacs themes. For me, I don't do themes. I don't like themes. I want my editor to be as simple as possible. My opinion is that when it comes to user interface, the most ugly, the better. So I don't use any themes. So all I do, if you view this page, you can see what I do. Okay, so wait, do I talk about here? So this is about how do you set up themes, how do you load themes, and all I do is this code. Set background color honeydew. So actually I can show you. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, let's copy that. Let's open a new buffer and go to XAH Emacs list mod, magnify, and we're gonna set background color. What is it? Background color. Okay. Wait. Okay, so the name is set background color. Yeah, so you do that, no set Q. So you do that, let's say pink. Okay, now I'm gonna evaluate this buffer, evaluate this code. So I do it, you see it's pink. Then I can say silver, then that's silver. Basically that's all I do. This is the color I use is honeydew. So you just put this line in your init file, then you get what I have. Very simple. It's just one line. So I don't want it to be black. I don't want it to be white. So white is too. Everything is white. So that's all I do. I would go a step further by using some kind of more darker theme. Darker background. But then you have to change all your text colors. Then it basically becomes a theme. You have to use a theme. I don't like use. I could use it. It's no big deal either way. But I don't go extra miles to do the color stuff. I want it just purely functional. If it's good, it's good. I want to avoid as much code as possible. So I don't want the entire complexity of color themes. A set of themes. Then you have different color for different things. Everything is like changed. So by the way, so if you want to use honeydew, you can use it, or you can call list color display. So list color display that will show you all the colors. So for example, so here is all the colors and the name if available. The left column is the name. The right column is the hexadecimal code. So for example, I could use any of these. Let's see. We want to pick a color wheat one. Let's see. Let's say wheat one is actually wheat one. Let's try it. Close it, go back here. Wheat one. Okay, so wheat one. So let's see what it happens. Okay. So actually that's too let's go back to Honeydew. So that's what I do with the color themes. Okay, so let's copy that, go back to XAH Talk Show, and paste it here. Yeah, already did. Hello, beautiful people. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the super chat. Check $100. So how much is that in USD? Hello, Danielle Langlois. Haven't seen you for a while. And Danielle, you contributed to my xah-fly-keys. I'm going to, because I started to want to add some changes. So I'm going to, read and accept your pull request soon. Okay. xah-fly-keys is very much alive. Don't think it's like it's dead. It's very much alive. I just haven't touched it for a long time. So thank you very much for hello beautiful people for $100 check. So let's see what's the next question. So we're gonna do Emacs or PowerShell. Let's see what topic. I'm not sure if I can save files from Chrome to Hexa. Good morning, Izam Morad. Where are you from, Izam? Dude, what's the deal with those concentration camps in China? Okay, that's another topic we can talk about next day. Not today, because today we're gonna focus on technical stuff. I like to separate them because political stuff. It's you know that's different thing. Some people may just want to focus on technical stuff. So I don't remember how I can. Okay, so hi, what's Emacs theme are you using? Okay, I answered that. Ask me, Williams. Thomas Wall says, but I have an interest in programming language design, so it might have been one of your articles on this subject. Okay. What about floating window showing keystroke on the left? It's the same thing. So it's just background color Honeydew. It's across all frames. Emacs frames or just Windows. So this. Are you asking what is it? So that is basically a mod you can download. Let me show you. So hold on a second. Let me show you xah start command log mod. Okay, so I have written a command. I have written this command that start up this window, this command log. This window shows all Emacs commands I call. For example, I press a key, it says keyboard quit. I move my cursor up, you can see it says previous line, next line, forward word, backward word, or delete current text block, undo. You see all my Emacs command call you can see on the left panel. And if there's something you find interesting, usually they are on my website. So all you have to do is you select, search for that command name. So anyway, how do you get this? I talked about this a few times. There is a mod, which is this mod, command log mod. It's on Melpa. Okay, so I open it. This is a source code. It's began by Free Software Foundation. It began by this guy Michael Weber, and right now it's maintained by Nick Ferrier. Nick Ferrier is a well-known, in the Emacs community. So anyway, this is on Melpa, but my version has some modifications, some minor modifications. So you can download it and you can have it. But remember, however, there is some minor problems. It's not intuitive. How do you begin it? How do you show the log? So you might to keep that in mind. So basically, this is the part I modified. Okay. So here is here is how you start the mod. So you start it by, once you install it, you start it by Emacs command log mod, then you call this command global command log mod, then you call this command clm open command log mod buffer. Okay, that's what you do. Now in Lisp syntax, that's these 3 lines. So their documentation does not mention this clearly. It's like very confusing. You have to. So anyway, I added this. So if you want to use that, let me show you. You can. So let me post the code here. So for those of you, okay, here's the Emacs code. Let's color it, showing browser. Oh, that's wait. So let's remove all the comments. Okay. Actually, we need a comments here. So cut, paste, showing browser, back to Emacs, color it, and showing browser. So this might be useful if you are going to use that start command log mod. It shows all your commands on the window. Not all. By default, it doesn't show. For example, if you call backward or if you press arrow keys, they don't show because you can filter out the commands you don't want to show, because when you move cursor, those commands are very boring, so sometimes people don't want to show it. So by default, they don't show that, but I want to show everything, so that's why. So let's see next question and where we go. So let me magnify. I'm getting old and I have a cross eye. It's like I cannot see. xah-fly-keys. So thank you, Danielle, for that. I'm gonna look at that soon. So Gans says, what's the contribution? So let me tell you that story. So xah-fly-keys, if you don't know, xah-fly-keys is a Emacs, is a VI-like. It's a model keybinding set for Emacs. So it's a keybinding set for Emacs. It completely changes how you operate in Emacs. And but it's like Vim, where you have command mod, you have insert mod. Why? Because that way is actually more efficient. Because when you log your keystrokes, you'll find that command mod actually saves you about at least 30% of keystrokes. So when you are if you are a programmer, you do text editing, you do code. If you use a modal mod, like switch to command mod, if you use any sort of modal mod, you will save, I would say, at least 20% of keystrokes. So why is this important? This is important when you have repetitive strain injury, or when you type a lot, this is important. So you want to go modal. Modal is the most efficient. Now, if you don't have a hand pen, if you don't type that much, if you are already used to Emacs keybinding, that's fine. If you are already used to Visual Studio or whatever, that's fine. But when you started to have a pen or something, then of course you want a solution. You want to be efficient. Then you want to think about modal. Now, modal, you can go with Vim. On Visual Studio, on VS Code, on many others, you have Vim. You can install a Vim module. That's one way. Vim is pretty good. Okay, it's okay. But if you do use Vim, key binding, I recommend you want to change your escape key to something easier. Okay, don't move, especially avoid moving your wrist like that to press the escape key. Instead, just move your whole hand to press, and do not put escape key on the tab, because that will make you, it will it's a trap. You tend to do this often because it's easier to press the tab key by doing that. Don't do that. So if you use Vim, I recommend you map the caps lock key, traditional caps lock, to the escape. Or you can install, there are many other solutions. You can install a double key, things like that. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into detail. So Vim is one option. Okay, Vim. So, but Vim's key binding is not optimal, because Vim's key binding is historical. It just happens to be developed and evolved that way. So even the idea of modal, like switching to command mod and insert mod, that idea is historical. It's not a creative solution. It's not someone sit down, thought about key binding, and decided, oh, why don't we have a command block mod? Yeah, I mean command mod and insert mod. That's not the case. It's just historical, because 40 years ago you don't have interactive, real time, WYSIWYG or anything like that. What you do is that you type a command, you enter, send it to the computer, then you type another command, you tell the you tell the computer to update the screen. So that's why you have command mod and insert mod. That's how it happens. So Vim's key binding is historical. It's not optimal. So that's how xah-fly-keys came by. Well, xah-fly-keys has long history. Before xah-fly-keys is Emacs mod. But anyway, so xah-fly-keys is a efficient key binding system for Emacs, and it's modal. And the difference from Vim is that the xah-fly-keys key binding choices, the key, which key does what command, is based on ergonomics and based on the Emacs statistics of command call. So it's supposed to be, it's designed to be optimal. So that's what xah-fly-key is. So you can see this is xah-fly-keys. This is the source code. 4,000 lines of Emacs Lisp, and we go up, we go to the top. Then here's a URL. So it's for Emacs. So if you have hand pen, you can try it. It will take you 1 month to learn. And the implementation. Okay, so that's the introduction to xah-fly-keys. But the implementation is not perfect. It works. It's working for the past 7 years, and for me and for other people. But there's something technical in Emacs. The thing is that I want to make it so that when you switch to command mods and insert mod, it does not actually change every key. Rather, you want it to switch just the key map. So I believe that's what Daniel made a pull request that does that. I think that's, I haven't looked into, because it takes a lot of time to it will take me hours and days to get back into that. You have to, once you do Emacs Lisp, you have to get back into the mod. So okay, so xah-fly-keys. So what did he contribute? So I'm using it too. So best thing so far. So yeah, if you are an Emacs Lisp coder, you can go into xah-fly-keys. You can see the pull request by Daniel Langlois. And Daniel Langlois, he tends to write tons of stuff. Like, he sent me emails. Every email is 2,000 words, 3,000 words. Full-fledged with philosophy and God. I basically stopped reading emails, because emails is like it's a pain. So since I started to do video about 7 months ago now, half a year ago. So xah-fly-keys, so you can see it's here, and it's on GitHub, and it's also on Melpa. You just search for the word xah-fly-keys. You'll find it. So here's a link. So I want to talk about. So we kind of digress a little bit. I want to talk about. Well, I didn't expect so many people today. So this is different from. Hey, hold on a second. Bartholomew. Greetings, Bartholomew. This is different from my usual time. 10 o'clock in the morning. So right now it's 5. So it's like 8 hours difference. So what came by? Uh, little ideas at GitHub. You can look at my little ideas at GitHub. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to into that because I wanted to do some. There's some changes I was thinking to do, but so Danielle, are you actually using the code that you did the pull request? I want to make sure. I my glasses. This glass is so bad. There's scratches on it. It's cheap Walmart. I need to get a new pair of glasses. It's so bad. So when you wear these glasses, you get teary. We need xah-fly-keys also in VS Code. Actually, yeah. So actually, I have been thinking really doing that because I started to look at VS Code about a few days ago, and my impression is just really good. Okay, it's really good, and also partly because I'm really tired of the Emacs community. I've been in Emacs community for 20 years. I've been a contributor. You can call me a contributor for like 10 years at least. And many of you guys support me, but many doesn't because I criticize open source and Richard Stallman all the time, things like that. So they don't, they don't promote my stuff. They don't, a lot. They don't link to it, things like that. So and no money. And every time Emacs has a problem, I talked about these too many times in the past, so I'm not gonna do it today. But I've been looking at Visual VS Code. Wait, not Visual Studio Code. Oh, okay. The full name is Visual Studio Code. Okay, that's interesting. So what do they call the other one? Visual Studio. Okay, so the other one is the old one is Visual Studio, right? So anyway, VS Code. I've been looking at VS Code, and it's just my impression is it's really great, and also so my impression is pretty good. I haven't actually started to use it. The way because I've been using Emacs for 20 years. So when you want to start with a new editor, the way you really start to learn a new thing, you have to actually start to use it, like do things with it, like just cut off, like stop using Emacs. When you do some project, use this, then you started to actually learn. You can't learn if you are not committed. If you are just casual, just looking at what it does, then you don't really learn. You really learn when you actually need, like, start a project with it, with a language, JavaScript or whatever. So anyway, I have, it's really good. Yeah, and I know why. I know practical reasons why. Because Emacs Lisp, all my complaints against the Emacs people, Emacs Lisp has been stagnant for like 20 years. Okay, yeah, there's improvements here and there, but basically compared to all the other languages, PHP, JavaScript, C++, Golang, compared to them, Emacs Lisp is pretty much stagnant. No change at all. All the other language, they have several generations of compilers in the past 20 years. PHP, JavaScript, several compilers. So many. It's like so many things going on. Emacs Lisp is kind of no change. And the Emacs people, they are fanatics. Their opinion is that Emacs is the greatest. Emacs Lisp is the greatest. It is not. If you compare the language Emacs Lisp versus JavaScript, for example, today, okay, all the languages, PHP, they are like 10 times better than Emacs Lisp, truly. Now, I did a video very popular about why Emacs Lisp sucks. You should check out that one. So that's like a 1 hour rant. Okay, so that's a video. You can find it on. Actually, I have a lot of video about Emacs Lisp. So, but anyway, so you'll find it if you go to my Emacs Lisp tutorial. You go to practical Emacs Lisp, and the bottom there is, okay, wait, this is Emacs Lisp for beginner. Okay, so you go to Emacs Lisp miscellaneous, I think. Okay, not here. You go to Emacs miscellaneous. There, okay. So you go to my ergoemacs.org, my Emacs website. Then you go to Emacs miscellaneous. You'll find these two videos. 2019, March 9th. Why Emacs Lisp sucks. Okay, so you watch that one. Now, that is a big one. I give you the detail of why Emacs Lisp is I'm not trying to exaggerate, but it would be like at least 2 or 3 times. It's like a magnitude times worse than basically all other languages, PHP, JavaScript, because they are actually, first of all, you have, okay, I'm not going to repeat, go check out that video. The main point of that video comes in like 1 hour or something after, so you might to skip around, look around. So anyway, so I've been kind of frustrated with Emacs. So Visual Studio Code looks really good, and okay, so that's one thing. Why is it good? I know because these commercial entities, they are truly thriving. While Emacs is free software foundation, open source, you are not. You only have like 100 people, or 10,000 people. That's it. While with JavaScript, PHP, you have 10 million people, working on it. That's reality. Corporations, 10,000 corporations trying to improve it, trying to, each one, they are ultimately, they are trying to make money for themselves, but bringing improvements to PHP or JavaScript and so on, that's a side effect, so it's happening, so that is why, so Visual Studio is, Visual Studio VS Code is a side effect of JavaScript. Then you started to have, JavaScript for desktop. Then GitHub started to create Atom editor. Then Atom becomes, then you have the Electron component. Before all this, first of all, you have the Chrome browser. Then you have the Chromium, the VA engine for JavaScript. Then that becomes, then it appears to people. Then it becomes that you can actually write a desktop, within a browser. This you see, this VS Code is actually, this is actually a browser. You are looking at. You are looking at Chrome web browser essentially. That's what this is. So you have a Chrome web browser. Then people started to. Then you have Atom. Then you have Electron framework. That's truly write once, run everywhere, like Java slogan. Write once, run everywhere on your Android, on iPhone, on Windows, on Mac. That's VS Code or Atom. For anything written in Electron. Also Discord. There's tons of applications. So JavaScript, it becomes this huge monster. Then you have VS Code. So I can understand why this should be much superior than Emacs. I can see it because you have massive people, working on it, creating frameworks and systems. This is no joke. Emacs is used by what? Let's say 100,000 people around the world. 100,000 people. Well, that's yeah, that's really, yesterday you have the virtual Emacs conference 2019. You look at their YouTube, you got 10 people watching. It's kind of sad. I really want Emacs to grow, but but it's not really doing anything, and also it's not. So anyway, so JavaScript, this outside world, JavaScript, Visual Studio, VS Code. So I find it, VS Code is pretty good, and also because I'm doing websites, so I have to know JavaScript. I know JavaScript very well. I talked about this many times. JavaScript. I have many videos on JavaScript tutorial, and I've done many videos on that. And I have this JavaScript in depth. So JavaScript is a language I know well. In fact, I spent this JavaScript in depth tutorial. Basically, I spent full time for 2 years, full time diving into JavaScript, the language, technical details. I read all the JavaScript language spec. They are incomprehensible. They are incomprehensible to read. So I spent 2 full years to write this JavaScript. So in fact, even I know Emacs Lisp, and I've been coding Emacs Lisp since 2006. So I've been coding Emacs Lisp and reading Emacs Lisp manual for 14 years or so. But I actually know JavaScript better because the language details. Because most of the time for average programmers, even if you work with the language for 5 years, you don't know the technical details of the language because most of the time because you don't need to actually. So you can work in C++, PHP, JavaScript, Golang for 5 years, and someone can ask you some technical question about that language or Python, and you will not be able to answer because in practice you don't need to, because the language tech details. Because for example, JavaScript, there are, let's say, 100 tech details. Once you work with this language for, let's say, 5 years, you might know 30 of those tech details you can answer, but there are 70 other tech details you don't know because you never looked into that, because your job does not require those things. So that's the general picture about how a person might know, how much you know about a language. So anyway, I'm studying JavaScript. I spent 2 years, so I know the technical details. Like all aspects. But that's not the case for my Emacs Lisp. Even though I programmed in Emacs Lisp for over 15 years, I just program Emacs Lisp to get things to work. I have, compared to lines of code, my lines of code in Emacs Lisp is like 10 times more than what I have written in JavaScript. So what I'm saying here, I'm trying to, as a side talk, I'm giving you some kind of a practical aspect, looking at like the difference between knowing a language very well and how much of it is practical, things like that. For example, I've written 10 times more Emacs Lisp code than JavaScript, practical Emacs Lisp, code packages for 14 years. On the other hand, I've only wrote like five JavaScript apps that you might say it's you can show to people, but on the other hand, JavaScript language, I really know that JavaScript language far more than the Emacs Lisp. So that's an interesting point. So back to what I was talking about, VS Code. So I know JavaScript well, right? So that's also my interest in VS Code, because VS Code is written in JavaScript, in Electron. So I might, I've been thinking of going to study create xah-fly-keys. Who knows? I might switch, I might not. I don't really want to because I've been with Emacs for 20 years. I don't really want to. When you switch, it's drama. Then all the Emacs people community who know me, they will say, "Oh, XAR switched." It's a drama. Anyway, we will see what happens. Good morning, Ztron. Thank you for coming by, Ztron. So I talked about. So I was planning to go into. Actually, I was planning to go talk about TypeScript. Close that. Wait, open it, copy it, close it, go to XAR Talk Show. Wait. Okay, copy xah-fly-keys, close xah-fly-keys, show XAR Talk Show. And did I paste it here? No. So let's paste it here. So XAR Talk Show. I mean xah-fly-keys. Then we talk about VS Code, JavaScript in depth. Copy that, paste that. Then we talked about VS Code. So, but I was going to talk about something about PowerShell, which is fantastic. PowerShell. Let me show you the. So PowerShell, um, that's gonna be at least 20 minutes. So, but let me show you some of the. PowerShell. You can start to use it if you know Bash or if you know command prompt already, the Microsoft command prompt. You can start to use it because works the same. For example, PowerShell. So ls. So let's exit. You type exit to exit. So let's say magnify my. So let's say pwsh. On the Mac, the command name is pwsh. Okay. On Windows and Linux, it's the full name PowerShell. So you can see, you can show directory. You can do ls. You can cd to xah-li. Actually, cd to web xah-li. You can press tab to command complete info. And ls, for example, ls-al. You can make directories. Basically, they have aliases. So if you are familiar with bash or command.exe, you can start to use it. Then you can also do pipe. Let's see. For example, let's see. I want to show a file. I want to show the first 5 lines of a file. So for example, let's go to XAR Talk Show. Let's do this. Okay, so XAR Talk Show. This is today's page. Wait minutes. There's something wrong. Okay, this is my page. Let's do open in terminal. Okay, so I opened in the current directory. So you can see ls. This is XAR Talk Show current directory. Let's make it big. And let's split the window. Okay, let's split window. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to start to okay, so hold on a second. So for example, let's ls. Okay, so for example, XAR Talk Show. I'm going to show the first line, 5 lines of a file. So let's do. First of all, I want to remove the back. Let's do this. Okay. So cat XAR Talk. Let's magnify. Okay. Cat XAR Talk Show index HTML. Okay, that shows the file content. So let's do that again. Let's say grep. So you pipe it to grep. You want to find the word Haskell. Okay, let's say. So I want to find all lines that contains the word Haskell. So there it is. That's how you do it. Okay, now let's try in PowerShell. Okay, so pwsh. Okay, now we are in PowerShell. Now we want to, how do you do that? I don't know. So let's go to my PowerShell tutorial. You go to PowerShell versus Bash. So here is how you do it. Select first 5. Okay, that's how you do it. Wait, you want to select piping. You want to do grep, right? So on this page you can see the Bash syntax and the PowerShell equivalent. What we want to do is grep. Okay, there. Okay, it's complicated. Let's do it then. So grep. How do you cat a file in PowerShell? So cat is the same as cat. So you do cat xah talk show index HTML. Then you pipe it to select string pattern. Okay, select string pattern Haskell. Okay, let's try that. There it is. It worked. Okay, so that's PowerShell. PowerShell is very interesting and it's hugely popular today. Now it becoming very popular. Because why? Because for example, let me show you. You go to my programming blog. You look at this image. This is the latest image from 2019, June. So you can see the most popular language: JavaScript, Java, PHP, Python, C Sharp, CSS, then C, Ruby, TypeScript, Scala, Swift, Objective-C, Shell, and PowerShell right there. Golang, PowerShell. You see, PowerShell. Then you started to see Perl, Haskell, Kotlin. Okay, those are not. So after PowerShell, you can say anything below that is not that popular. Once you see Haskell, you know that at that point that's a boundary. Haskell, that's not popular. So anyway, I think maybe that's it for today because yeah, that's some sort of introduction to PowerShell. How long have I been talking? Oh, 1 hour. Not too bad. So let me just read the comments and let's see. Ztron. Daniel, key maps and minor mod stuff. Maybe just under the hood at convenient way. Thanks for detailing answer. Yeah, I'm using it. I'm working. Okay, so great. Okay, so yeah, I'll check it out. Idea is that most frequently used command have most easy keys. Yes. Okay, so Bart says I usually clearly prefer open source over especially Microsoft, but in this case I think it'd be better if you would switch from the old pen Emacs to the trash and juicy Visual Studio Code. Bart, you are a traitor. You should dive into Emacs, man. Good morning, Alan. Uh, why do you break in cars again? Yeah, the my neighbors, this, my neighbors, you don't know, I don't know what's going on. So, what next, guys? Comment, or we might end today, or we might do another Emacs stuff, like, or we dive into more about PowerShell. So Emacs, more Emacs stuff, or more PowerShell. Okay, let me show you this Emacs code. Okay, so I want to look up, for example, let's say I want to look up Emacs. I want to search the web of some word. Let's say I want to search the word VS Code. So in Emacs, I can press three keys. Now look, okay, three keys. Then it pops up the browser and search Visual Studio. So that command you can see is this command, xah-lookup.el. Okay, so that is a Emacs package I've written. So if you guys like it, you can download it. It's on Mailpad. So for example, the key I'm pressing is this one. So I'm pressing space HT on Vorak keyboard, and that's xah-lookup.el. And the source code is over here. I can show the source code. Here's the source code. It can look up. Hold on a second. Whoops. It can look up web. It can look up Wikipedia specifically, or it can look up some definition of a word by any URL you set yourself. You can customize it, so you can choose a URL. For example, let's say I want to look up etymology of a word. Okay, so the command would be xah-lookup etymology. Okay, so let's call xah-lookup etymology. Now I have a key binding, but I forgot what key that, because I rarely use this. Okay, so it actually runs the Emacs browser. The use. I think I set that up before like that. But normally it'll just go to the browser. But in this case, I think I customized it so that it uses the built-in Emacs browser. Because for etymology, typically, I want to be able to copy the result, and split window, go back to Emacs, and maybe paste stuff here. Wait, you need to copy. So anyway, what does it say? So etymology, the etymology of etymology, late 14th century etymologia, facts of the origin of the development of a word. From Old French, etymology, 14th century, modern French, and so on. Okay, so for example, so I can copy it back to here, paste it, and I have a etymology. So that package is called xah-lookup word. Okay, actually I don't want etymology. So let me show you the so here's the URL showing browser, and it's on Mailpad, so you guys can use it. Okay, close that, paste it here, make a link, then showing browser. Okay, so that's xah-lookup word. So Bob says, so the more I see you using Emacs, the more I find it confusing and unusable, to be honest, because I'm working too fast, because all the commands is too advanced. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the time. 8 people watching. Okay, I think let's stop now. So Bot and Ztron Crazy, have a good day in Germany. And thank you guys, Alan. Yeah, we're gonna stop. Daniel Langlois, thank you guys for coming by, and thank you, hello beautiful people, for the super chat. So bye guys. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I'm gonna shut down in 1 minute. Let's look at, okay, I'm gonna shut down in 1 minute. Let's see what else is interesting. Good night, Alan. PowerShell. So guys, go learn PowerShell, and there's a help. Help is like a man page in Unix. You can type help. You just type help. So, and the thing is that, so cd, I can cd to my home directory. So it's like you can begin to use it, replacing bash. And you can, it's available on Linux, on Mac as well. So Microsoft is becoming, if you look at history, this is quite interesting because you see, Microsoft today is the biggest contributor of open source, even more so than Google. So you see, if you are observer of history, this is a quite interesting twist. And there are many aspects to look into. You can think about, oh, is it evil or is it good or bad, things like that. But anyway, so Microsoft today, in the past, 3, 4, or 5 years, they become the biggest contributor to open source. Not, and in terms of lines of code too. For example, the PowerShell itself today is open source, like full MIT license. I looked. MIT license, not GNU, not MIT license is one of the most free license. Or you have basically, if something is MIT license, that means you can use it, you can modify it. All it requires is that you give credit. Like this is originally from you give credit. That's all it requires. No this big baggage from GPL license. They sting you in many ways. They want you to conform to the Richard Stallman's way of thinking. That's GPL. But MIT license. So so PowerShell is open source, and the core that PowerShell is based on is called .NET Core. So Microsoft, in Microsoft technology stack, you have the .NET is the foundation, right? But now, in the past, since about 2016, they created .NET Core, which is open source. Truly, it is amazing. It's .NET Core is open source, and it's meant for cross-platform. So PowerShell is written on top of it. So this is at least from a historical perspective, this is a giant change of things. You don't, I don't know what's good or bad or what's gonna happen in the future. That's interesting. Okay, but that's it for today. So no, scene two. Okay, that's not extend and embrace and extend and extinguish. That's what Unix fanatics want to call. That's what the Unix fanatics say about Microsoft. But in my opinion, it is the Unix fanatics themselves are doing that. Okay, you are going to start to get me to begin a 1 hour rant non-stop. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.